Deze is hartstikke awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? We are back. We had a little, I guess, actually, I wouldn't call it vacation. It was more of me competing everywhere, all over Florida. But
I had a vacation.
You had a vacation. Man, and yes, it is episode 199. Isn't that crazy? That means next week's going to be a big week, a big episode. So we will be kind of over the next week, letting you guys know a little bit of what we're going to be doing next week to celebrate episode 200. But as you see the title, we got a lot to talk about. And before we get going, we got Virtual Fight Tour coming up. And so that is August 26th. And we are excited because it's Battle of the Dojos. And Jesse Ray and the VFT crew are going to put together another fantastic show for you guys. So make sure you guys check it out. Go to virtualfighttour.com. Go to myeventex.com. Go ahead and buy the show and support these guys. All right? All right, guys. Y'all ready to just get into it? What's up, Will? What's up, Willie?
We will get into everything that we had as far as like what's been happening. I mean, if you really want to, I'll give you a quick sum up of what's been happening since the last 2 weeks with me. You want to know what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's awesome. I didn't have, I didn't exactly plan it this way, but then once it was head this way, I kind of forced it that way. I didn't have any gigs last weekend or the weekend before. No gigs. I didn't set, for the other businesses, I didn't set any appointments all last week. I took the week off. So you know what that means? I had the kids all to myself and I was like, let me go back to work.
I love it. What's up, Andrew?
Anybody come in here and help me while I go to work?
Oh, man. So me, I was traveling a lot, flying around, doing everything. So
everywhere.
I went to US Open. I flew down there Friday. I didn't get there early for my Friday vision. And competed Saturday. Sunday left early that morning and got home Sunday night. It had family in, celebrated my fiance's birthday that Monday.
Happy birthday, Shelly.
Yes, happy birthday, Shelly. And my uncle came in, so we just had some family get together on Monday. I didn't leave there till 10. I actually needed to leave my house at 3 a.m. to get to my flight. So I had that's a lie. I woke up at 2. So I got about 3 hours of sleep, actually. And then flew to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the AAU Taekwondo Nationals and got there and met Travis there. So Travis and I got to watch and see and interview some people and got a lot of cool footage from the AAU Taekwondo Nationals. Then I competed on Wednesday all day long, 14 forms in one day. And then got to see some of my Revolution teammates and saw how they were setting up for the AAU Karate Nationals. Finished competing Wednesday, left Thursday. Hung out with the Duarte family. That was awesome. And then Thursday, flew home, had a little bit of family time. 8 a.m. Friday morning, I'm at the Grand Hotel in downtown Lynchburg, ready to teach a martial arts retreat. And did I just go there to teach? No, I did the whole retreat. I trained on everything. We did some knife fights, grappling, some Jiu-Jitsu. We did some fighting, some kick training. It was a lot of fun. So I did that on Friday and Saturday with the banquet at the end of the night. Sunday morning, judged the tournament, and then finally was done for the weekend. So now I'm recovering and getting back to training. So yeah, so
You're lucky that you love martial arts.
I do.
Because if you didn't, that would just make you go up.
Oh God.
No shit.
Uh-oh. Oh, this guy.
That was awesome.
That's awesome. What's up, Daryl?
Yes. What's up, people? What's up, guys?
What's
What's
up,
happening?
Travis?
How come your mic sounds so much better than mine?
Yours actually sounds very well, man. Yours sound good. I've been
It is
listening to
good.
the pod. Yours sounds very well, man. Yours
Okay.
sounds real good, man. So don't worry.
Yeah, I got to get a new mic because mine does not sound as good as it used to.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
If y'all thought I was not going to talk about everything that happened over the last two,
I know.
Glad you're in.
weeks. I don't know what y'all thought. Yes, I'm here
No.
and I'm going to talk
Yes.
about it.
Nice.
Dude, it's so much. It's so much. So we're kind of all over this place. So where do we want to start? Travis, you and I were at pretty much everything. So we want to go with U.S. Open and kind of talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
let's hit
here.
some bullet points.
Yeah. I'm gonna follow in. I'm gonna throw in all the. I'm gonna let you guys do what y'all do, and I'm just gonna be the color commentator here, and then say the stuff that y'all might not say or want to say.
True.
But yes, yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, it's been a wild, crazy experience for me, but it's been a lot of fun. But I'd say my 10 days of just martial arts craziness has been a good experience. Met a lot of people, had a lot of connections. And I guess I accomplished some good things. So I'll share more of that once we kind of go into the U.S. Open, after the U.S. Open stuff. But man, flew in on Friday and their fighting was already happening. I missed Thursday. Apparently, is open weight on Thursday? Yes. Right. Yeah. Open weight was on Thursday.
Open. It was teams on Thursday.
Teams on Thursday. You're right. Open weight was Friday. Yeah,
like early afternoon.
Yeah.
I completely missed that. I was making content.
Right. So, it's starting earlier and earlier. Honestly, the overall vibe from what I heard from most people, and also just telling you just from a Kappa perspective, hearing more people saying that it was better than last year, getting better reviews overall from what it was the year before. So they're making strides in the right direction. From a lot of team and school owners, customer service was great. So that's a great step in the right direction. I do think it's hard. I know for me, like I said, I missed half. I only did 2 divisions because I just wasn't going to get there super early. It started like 9 a.m. on Friday. Right. I got there about like 2:00, 2:30, something like that.
Yeah,
so
it was pretty much over when you got there on Friday.
Yeah. So it was about an hour left. Maybe they were doing actually forms like the CMX grands when I got there, and then they were finishing up, or they just finished up open weight. I think they're on the men's open weight when I was there. How many fighters? It was like 38 or something. I heard 38.
For open weight.
Yeah, I know it was smaller than battle, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll tell you exactly. I'll look it up.
Oh yeah, and then women's was like 17 or 18.
The Friday afternoon. Well, yeah, because they said it was going to be like at 10:30, 11 a.m. on Friday, but it didn't go that way.
Yeah. One thing I do have to say though, in the fighting part, they have a big ring, like a huge ring, 8x8, which I thought was great, and that's something that the fighters and the coaches have been asking for a while. So that was good to see. Now
8x8 is like a Waco World Championship size ring, which is that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big ring.
I don't think I would like an 8x8. I'm gonna be honest.
What were you gonna say?
I don't think I would like an 8x8.
It was too big for you?
Think about it, Travis. If I'm fighting, that means 8x8. Let's say I'm fighting someone's Jeff size. They can run away from me real easy.
True.
I don't like that. I would much rather fight a bigger fighter who wants to stand in front of me. That's
still
why
not as big.
Over 40 in the heavyweights, we don't need 8x8.
Well, it's not as big as What were you gonna say? Not as big as the ring we saw.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but
during
it's
the
not as
week.
big as the
Yeah.
ring we did see.
Oh
That
my
was,
God.
and it was actually cool looking. So yeah,
It was cool
gotta give 'em-
looking. Yeah. So yeah, the stage was the same thing during the day. 8x8 was big. One thing though, I think they need to get better mats for that. There are holes in that, so that's just one thing I think for the stage ring during the day for forms. Need to fix, work on getting a mat that's going to be a little bit better.
Yes, Mike. I'm not. Yes, yes. All the news brought me out.
That's
Yes.
hilarious, actually.
Yes, all of that brought me out. I was like, okay.
All right. So open weight. What were some of the big takes? Because I didn't get to see a lot of it, but I heard things about it. Women's wise, the thing I heard from the biggest thing was that there wasn't like a bad fight in the women's open weight at all. Like everyone was close, everything was good. There was solid competitors all around. Would you agree on that?
There were solid competitors all around. I'm not gonna say it wasn't a bad fight. There were
Whoa.
some fights that weren't great,
weren't close. Yeah.
The overall sense was it was kind of interesting because the biggest shocker of everything out of the weekend was Jasmine beating Katarina.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was the fight that kind of turned everybody like, wait, what? Because there was a lot of good fights. There was Brianna and Alexi. That was a good fight. Brianna and Jimena. That was a good fight. Trying to see what else. Who else was. What I took away from it was I was seeing injuries.
Yes.
I was seeing those. That's what I was kind of getting at. Like, ooh, all right. There was a lot of women who were going down, and I was just kind of like, dang, I'm not sure what's going on here. But
The injuries or like
no,
air quote
injuries.
injuries?
Like in
No,
little
like real injuries.
Cassandra had came back out. Cassandra de la Barrera. She came back out and she fought, and she had her knee was messed up. Jimena, her knee was messed up. Going into I think she heard it in the Diana fight, the Diana Hernandez fight. I think it was that one before, because she fought Diana Hernandez before she had to fight Jasmine on stage.
Yeah. And then also what's crazy is that it affected the women's team overall. Because Maeve messed her knee up.
Yeah, Maeve
really bad. And then actually Alexi hurt herself as well.
Yep.
So like Cassandra was hurt, or did we say Cassandra? Yeah,
Cassandra.
But she actually fought in the final against Katarina. Like in the ISK show, they were putting the women on there, but both of their teammates were hurt, so they just made it like a single fight to crown the team title, which is crazy, but that was how it worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was so many injuries. Jimena was fighting through it, but you could tell she wasn't at her best, but she still made it to the open weight final to go against Jasmine. Jasmine ended up, pulling that out and beating her in the finals on that for the open weight. Kind of the way we're going, we're just kind of going all wherever we're at, just instead of just kind of go about order. Because I think if we do that, we're going to be here forever. So,
you know what I find interesting about the injuries with the women? I mean, think about the types of injuries you talked about. I mean, mostly knees.
Yeah.
And that's what, I mean, if they didn't already know, they have to really be cautious of is in our sport and really kind of athletics in general, women get knee injuries, especially like ligament injuries, more often than men do. It's just the way that our bodies are like built different. And so I don't know enough to know, like, what do you do to prevent something like that? I just know that that's the case as the way the bodies are,
I mean, Brett, it wasn't necessarily a mat issue. It was just that they just kept coming out. I don't know what the real reasoning for it. They just are hurting their knees. And it was just, it was kind of odd.
I think a few of them. Yeah.
Well, a lot of them are it's continuing from over the year.
Exactly.
Right. And they're pushing through and they're fighting through it. But and they're young. So it's kind of like, whoa, okay, all right. I don't know what to say here about what's actually causing these injuries. But because like it's almost like the men a few years ago when everybody was throwing out like their elbows and shoulders and stuff like that. And they kept throwing it out because they were throwing the blitz and everything. And they were throwing their arms and their shoulders, and everybody was just popping everything out their arms, and yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think this is where everyone needs to look back into. Some people are overtraining. You know what I mean? And I think that's really a thing, and maybe even I don't know if it's over competing. I mean, again, some people are just so active, and some aren't. So it's some people that we've seen that haven't been here too much, but we're still getting hurt, or just coming back. But I don't know everyone's workout thing, but I think there is some overtraining that people need to look into.
We need Dr. Turbo to weigh in on this.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Ross and I were talking about it the other day on the phone, so about that, like people overtraining, and so it was really, really interesting to see that. But yeah, I mean, how many times do you see them, stretching or warming up properly before competing? Yeah, some just basically and jog. Some we see sleeping. I do think it's becoming more of a thing on the men's side, though. We are seeing that. Hopefully this kind of helps the women kind of get into that mindset as well.
You can do those things. You just have to know your body, right? Like I can't warm up a lot before I fight because I only have so much time for my body to perform. So if I waste all that stuff before I fight, I'm done. Right now, I'm going to get injured because I don't have any juice left. That's old man talking, right? But but then when you got all the juice in the world, when you're dumb and you don't really warm up, then you get injured because you didn't prep yourself. It's a double-edged sword. You got to know your body.
Right.
Come on.
All right. So the men's fighting, who ended up making it in the final? It was Devin versus John
Curatolo.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Curatolo beat Christian Rivas, right? That was one of the last fights that I saw. That was
one of the last fights. So some of the fights that were there that happened. The Kevin and Alex Macias fight was good.
Okay.
That came down to the last minute. Chance Devin.
I watched that one.
Yeah. Then there was Darren and Kevin. I gotta say this. It's not taking a shot, but Hector Solari, like you wouldn't know that he was a fighter just by looking at him.
I know.
Right?
No, that's
right on.
You would not know that he was a fighter just by looking. So he just has this demeanor about him that's kind of like, wait, what? And then he was 200 pounds. So it's like, wait.
Right. Wait, what?
How? Where is
2 years ago, he was a middleweight.
Yeah. So it's like, so watching him,
he was a lightweight. Like
when he first started,
yeah. It's like
but no, yeah. So he had a good fight. Oscar Garcia bowed out to him, but then it was John and Hector, and John beat Hector. And during that fight, Abeda was screaming at John, like, and this is what was interesting about it. It was because John was not a defensive fighter that weekend. That day, he was being offensive. Which was that was the take,
is not his,
which is not him. Like he has the skills to do it, but he just never does it. So
correct.
So Beta was screaming at him like to be offensive, be aggressive and stuff like that. And so Beta messaged me and talked to me afterwards, and he was saying that he had talked to John earlier in the week about that. He's like, "Look, man, you're never gonna get to where you want to be by being a defensive fighter. We practice offense. You're going to have to be offensive." And so. And it showed out. For John, he performed. He got past them, and then the big one was that he beat Christian. He beat Christian in the semis to get to Devin.
And honestly, I didn't see the other fights, but watching that fight, you could kind of see him kind of playing that game in his head a little bit of going back to that defensive mindset. There were some spots. I was like, oh, don't do it. Keep going forward. And he did it just enough to pull it out. But you saw it a couple of times when Christian was coming back or Christian, and he was just trying to do this counter punch sometimes they had the judges in there to call a couple of those that normally in another fight and different judges, I don't think he would have got that point. You know what I'm talking about, Travis?
No.
Like some of the like the
the hooks and stuff like that. Yeah.
things like that.
Right.
A lot of times you're not going to get that. It's going to go to whoever is offensive. So
both of them do that more often than I see from almost anybody else.
right. So that was cool. So again, it came down to 2 Orlando fighters. 2 guys.
Yeah, actually,
from Florida.
if you
Really
want to look
looked
at
at-
it, the last 4, it was
Yep.
Devin, Kevin, who's living in Orlando right now,
Yeah.
Christian, and John were
Yeah,
the last
all-
4.
Yep. All Orlando. Yep.
Yeah. So they kind of had an all Orlando final, kind of, even though he's Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's Atlanta less through and through. He is
That's
Atlanta.
right. He is Atlanta.
Yeah.
A couple of the big things just from Friday. Singal was back. Singal came and won the CMX Weapons Grand, doing his double whip chain. Won that, beat all the young guys that have been killing it all year. Esteban, Ben, Dawson, Rashad, all those guys, beat all of them. Then lost by, I think, 1/100th in the CMX Forms Grand to Esteban. And again, funny when we get to the ISK show, because those 4, like Rashad, Dawson, Ben, and Esteban, have been so consistent and in the top 4 and end stage all year long, they didn't fit Singal into that one, but they put him in the Forms one. So he won the Weapons Grand, but he didn't win the other one. So, but he was featured in that. So it was cool to see him back. Got to hang out with him because he was on Revolution as well. Represent Revolution
now.
So both of us were like the new team members for the tournament. I guess I was Atlanta, but that was a pretty cool experience. And just seeing how much he's grown as a martial artist as well.
A lot of people changing teams.
Yeah.
No, that's just a teaser. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. All right. So those are the big things to me. I know there was some other stuff. Man, we could go into a lot of different complaints on judging. Honestly, the biggest complaints I've seen were in Forms judging at the US
hit the bullet points as to what they might be.
Than that. Well, I'll just tell you this.
What did you hear people saying?
All right, I'm just going to say it because it needs to be said. Judges gotta keep their eyes open when they're judging Forms, and they can't be nodding off. All right, and if we have judges that are at this point that can't stay awake in a division, then you know what? It's time for them to move on and do something else. They can help in another way because it's getting to be a consistent thing. So
listen, I remember doing that one time. This was probably 20 years ago, right? And you think like you can go off on no sleep when you're like in your early 20s. You're like, I'm good. I can keep going. I'm up. I can keep going.
Right.
But the moment you sit down and don't move,
right,
it gets tiring.
It is
and
tiring.
At one time, there was like an 8-year-old blue belt division. I did one of these things, and I had to remove myself. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't believe it. It was like I'm not kidding you. It was an 8-year-old blue belt division. Everybody who won was supposed to win, but I was so embarrassed. I said, "Listen, guys, I can't do this. I don't know what it is. You got to take me out. Like I don't know what's happening, but I'm about to crash right here, right now."
I'm not gonna lie. I have almost fallen asleep. I felt myself getting tired while watching intermediate Forms.
Yeah,
yes.
I think everyone's had that moment. You know what I mean? But and again, it depends on how long you've been there and stuff.
But
so
you cannot fall asleep. I'm assuming this was adult black belt division.
A lot of them were adult black belt divisions on stage.
Whoa! Wait! You just said a lot of them were.
This happened several.
You're saying more than one time.
This happened several times throughout the weekends. Yeah. So and then
was it the same person or was it different people?
From what I saw, it was the same person, but I did hear that it was another.
It was multiple suspects.
Multiple suspects. Yeah. So.
Jeez.
I don't want to out everybody, but I think everybody kind of should. I don't know.
Have time for you to out anybody.
Yeah. But again, so that was the main thing on that. On Saturday,
wow,
man, it was Honestly, though, like for them starting, we got done at what, like 4:30 on Friday, which was pretty good.
All right, give it a letter grade. The U.S. Open.
Honestly, for me, it was a B. I don't think it was better than Battle, but it wasn't as late as the Battle, so that was good. You know.
Would you give Battle an A?
No, I'd probably give it a B plus this year. Last
Okay.
year I would have probably given it an A.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say this, the energy was different. The energy was actually different at the U.S. Open than it was at Battle. I'm not sure why.
It's just U.S. Open.
But what does that mean, though? Right?
It's weird. It's like this untangible, like surface level excitement that nobody really knows why, and it's just there. And I don't want to hear the magic of Disney. Don't give me that. But it's there, right? And
well, maybe it's making everybody happy or something like that. That's
maybe it is when you walk in. You know what? For a lot of us, like as soon as like Orlando has like an obnoxious amount of sunshine, right? So maybe that's it, right? Maybe people are just used to that.
You hate sunshine?
I don't like a lot of sun. I absolutely do not.
Well, he's from Minnesota.
Minnesotan.
Yeah. No, and now he's in Chicago.
When you're like north of mid 80s, like when you even get to the mid, like no, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Nothing. Right. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now. We don't need to go too far.
And it was 32. I counted it out. It was 32 in the open weight, but go ahead.
Everybody who's saying like, oh, you're nuts. Don't say that when it's January. You know what? In January, people will still walk outside. Go look outside.
Who the hell?
Just wait when because this comment, this will be something and people are like, Alex, you're nuts. Okay, but go ahead, just wait. January will come around, and it doesn't matter where you live, someone will be walking around outside. It happens all the time because nobody wants to be stuck in the house.
They ain't got no car, man.
However, all right, go look around right now.
Alex kind of has a point on this.
Look around outside when you're in the high 80s. Nope. Nobody's outside. The only people outside are at a water park.
Walking outside all the time.
Nobody wants to be outside. And like neighborhoods, kids don't even want to play outside.
Well, kids don't want to play outside. Well, kids don't want to play outside today anyway. That's a whole nother subject of why they want to stay in the house and play Roblox.
Right. Oh God.
Maybe.
All right, listen. In Florida, people are outside. I was just in Florida.
People were outside
all the time.
You stay in the house all the time.
Right. But now I do agree with Alex on the people even outside in January walking around. I mean, I've been to Wisconsin when it was negative 20 something, and people walking outside like, what the heck? You're nuts.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say this, but was it any black people walking outside? I'm sorry. Like negative 20? No, it is not.
No. Listen. No. All right. All right. So, what were some takes or some big things from Saturday? I know for me, it's always a weird thing because we have to run all of our forms grands like on Saturday right then, especially now. They're not taking any to the finals like they used to. Sometimes take some and some not. Everything's ran off. But what's good is that all of the like CMX grands were already done Friday. All the CMX runoffs for juniors were all done Friday. So a lot of that was done. So all they had to do was the traditional grands and then the head-to-head overall grands for the juniors. So they got all that done. And honestly, in a pretty timely manner.
They did.
Considering, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they did everything on Thursday and Friday. So it's like Saturday was almost like an afterthought. Like,
all you had was forms and points bar, and that was it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did it seem like people liked it like that? Or did it seem like people would rather have it just on 2 days?
I don't know. If you guys have ever seen me at a tournament, I am there for the tournament, and as soon as the tournament's over, the daytime eliminations are done, I'm gone. You don't see me at the finals. I'm gone. I'm going back to the room. I'm going to eat. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not doing the finals. I'm not. I didn't see what was going on Friday nights. I didn't see what's going on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me what happened. Like I don't need to see this.
Yeah.
I've never seen you at a finals before.
No. Not anymore. I used to when I was fighting, and when I would come back out, and then I would be now. No, I'm not nowhere to be found. Like my time's too precious. But
Right.
I'll say this because I put this at the chat as far as the Saturday goes. There's a rivalry that is brewing, and I don't know if people are watching or if people are paying attention.
Oh boy.
It's not a negative rivalry. It's just these two are going back and forth, and literally won at the battle and ended up winning the Grands, and the other one at the US Open and ended up winning the Grands.
Yep.
It's Christian and Devin are
Yes.
battling for that light heavyweight, and then when they win, they're winning. They won. They win in the Grands. Christian won at the AKAs, then he won at US Open. And Devin won open weight at US Open, won open weight at
Where were we at?
Was it Quebec? Oh no, AK was it?
He won Waco. He won Waco
in Quebec. Yeah, he won the Waco in Quebec, and then he won
the battle.
He won Grands at Battle.
Grands at the Battle. Yep.
Like these two have been going back and forth, so it's been an interesting thing. And if John had not beaten Christian in the open weight division, it would have set up Devin and Christian in the semifinals. I mean, in the finals to see who would end up winning again. So I was kind of sitting there just watching this whole thing, and I there is a rivalry going on here. And after Christian won the Grand, he sat there and counted out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what made me think about it. I was sitting there and I saw him count it out, and I said, oh, this is his 5th one. This is his 5th Grand Championship. So, and I started going back because he won Caps last year. He won AKAs this year. He won, just won US Open. I can't think of what the
3. He might have won 2 other ones.
Just say it, Travis. Just ask it.
Just
put it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that question.
Yeah.
Oh, that question.
He won the tournament in South Carolina twice.
I'm not counting those. But
you won't even say the name.
I think that's what he's
diamonds. Right, Tony. He won diamonds. Yes.
Oh, right. He won diamonds. Yeah, sorry.
Right, he won diamonds.
Yes,
AKA, he when you stop and start thinking about it, like, okay, wait a minute. Has Christian become the top heavyweight fighter? Not light heavyweight, but heavyweight. But Devin is making a claim like, hey, hold on.
These guys are going
like right now, Cam and Avery are not active. They're not that active. And when even the last time Christian fought Avery at the AKAs, he beat him. I'm not sure if he fought him at Ocean State or not. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, but I don't remember how that worked out.
It's Christian is rising in his ranks, and I'm paying attention to it quickly. Brian Brian did beat Christian at one of these events. I can't remember which one it was. So
it was this year.
I think it was Pan Am's. I think it was Pan Am's.
Okay. It felt to me like it was this year, but maybe 6 months ago. Okay.
I think it was Pan Am's.
I think Oscar actually won that one.
So the question is,
but Brian beat Christian in the division, and then Brian beat Cam, and then Oscar beat Brian.
Yep.
So then the question is Christian the top heavyweight right now?
He's making a case for it.
He's making a case. We don't have to say
he's got 4 in the last couple. So
So I mean, he's making a case. So again,
and 3 of the big 4.
Right. And before, what were we talking about the past 2 years? The heavyweight is just kind of a 2-person show. It's not as competitive. It's not. We're seeing completely different now.
Definitely, Ben. Definitely.
And it's really interesting to see that. And even if we go into our topic that we're going to talk about later, everyone that got picked up, all heavyweights, right?
Yep.
So we're seeing heavyweights really make a comeback, right? So because we've had so much focus on the lightweights and all the competition, but now really Bailey, most of the time, if he's there, he's winning that lightweight Grand. That's become consistent.
Correct.
It's not always that consistent in the heavyweight, and it's not like they're bad fighters. They're killing it, and they're winning, and now they're winning open weight as well.
So
say your take real fast.
I'll say it fast because it ain't gonna take long. There is not a world where Avery Plowden still kicks and punches where I'm gonna say he's not the best heavyweight fighter in the world. I'm sorry. He's still kicking and he's still punching and he still puts on a black belt. I just can't see a world in where I say he's the best. And Cam, and I'm saying Cam's not great or amazing or potentially even all-time great. Cam just decides he doesn't want to compete as much, and that's his decision. Because if Cam came out at the very next tournament, next weekend or this weekend, you'd be like, shit, Cam's probably going to win the heavyweight overall. But then if Avery's there too, you're like, this is going to be a freaking amazing battle, right? Because that's what these guys do. And we've wanted so many of them, so many battles from them. I can't see a world in which those two kick and punch, and I don't choose one of them as the best. Now, if you want to call this the Michael Jordan rule, because we always did that when we were kids, and when we would play basketball, when we were outside, we were like, I'm Michael Jordan, because that's what you did. You pretended like you were that player. We're like, no, you can't do that. That's cheating. And then you had to pick somebody else. All right, fine. I'm Karl Malone. I'm Reggie Miller. That's what you did.
Picked Karl Malone.
I know nobody ever did that. I picked Reggie Miller because I thought Reggie.
Come on now, you at least say Barkley or
yeah.
Or
I never wanted to pick Barkley. I did love Barkley, but I never did that. All right. But anyway, the point. But if you want to say that, if you want to give like, okay, asterisk rule, you can't pick Avery, you can't pick Cam, then you're like, okay, now I have to do that. But now am I really even? What are we doing when I gotta say, okay, you can't pick Avery, you can't pick Cam?
Okay, wait, but see, here's the thing. I don't think there's Chris. I think right now Christian is making a case that you don't need to just make it just a 2-person race.
Right.
That's where we're coming up to is that you just can't make that case of just summarily dismiss everybody else. I think Christian is making a strong case, and I think Devin is about to make that case as well. So, exactly. And as I'm sitting here, I'm just kind of like, huh. And it's not this year, but I'm watching this young man, Alex Mancias.
Yeah.
Him and Christian, that fight that they had.
Yeah.
My God.
Leveling up every turn.
They go against each other, and it's always a heck of a fight, man. To me, that's a rivalry that's been brewing for a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I love about the way Alex fights, though? The way Alex fights is, I think the way he fights, I think he just everybody respects him the way he fights because he just wants to keep fighting all the time. He wants to fight. I mean, this guy would be great in other eras, right?
So don't backtrack now, Alex.
No, don't say that.
Don't backtrack now.
The only thing I ever did was I asked, is he a forms guy or is he a fighter? That was it. Because I was times where I saw him doing forms and not fighting. Don't try and get it like I was twisting like this guy's not this or he's not that. That's all that was. All right. But anyway, now look at the way Alex fights, though. The way he fights, you look at that and you're like, yeah, you respect him the way he fights because you're like, he is a all-out fighter.
Right.
Now, not everybody today fights like that, but it's whatever. I don't want to. I'm going to get too long-winded. We got so many other things to talk about. Let's just keep on.
So, the ISKA show. A couple things with that. You know, I think. So one cool thing about it was that they had the MayaCon or whatever, like the martial arts business like type thing summit. There was a lot of people there. Okay, and all those people got tickets into the show. So apparently all the show was apparently sold out, but the problem is it didn't look sold out. It looked like empty until like 7:30 or 8, and the show started at 5. So, and the problem is that we as competitors couldn't get in without buying a ticket because they said they sold out all the general admission. So that was a big issue. Okay. So if I'm competing in there, I'm going to go around the front. Yeah, so if I'm trying to go around front, they wouldn't let me in. And then they say, you got to go all the way to the other side of the building to buy a ticket. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So that was an issue. That's something I think they need to figure out. But what's cool on the other end, what's cool was that seeing all these people that come from all kinds of different backgrounds. There were some that were just jiu-jitsu people. There's some that are Krav Maga people. They're sitting there, and I'm sitting next to them. Edgar and I are sitting next to them
How'd you get in?
Because I had a VIP pass.
Oh, okay.
Man, Jeff,
I had
you
a
just
VIP
know
pass.
everybody, man.
So I had a VIP pass, but I'm sitting next to these guys and they're enjoying sport karate, like watching all the forums. Like I'm sitting next to this guy. Oh dang, I forgot his name. But Chris and I were talking about. Chris knows him. He's a big jiu-jitsu guy. Has a lot of social media following, and he's loving even the extreme stuff and the weapon stuff and the point fighting stuff. And so it was really cool to see all those guys really enjoy it. And then after the show, a lot of them came up to me and said, really commented on my performance and stuff like that. So it was cool to see people that aren't in our world enjoy our world, you know what I mean? That are still martial artists, but we look at other media platforms, other things, and those martial artists hate on everything we do. Those guys could have, and they didn't. They came and watched and enjoyed the show and really appreciated what we did. So I thought that was a big plus. So the other end, ISK show, people are going to have their opinions on who should have been in, who shouldn't have, whatever. I thought overall it was a good show.
Whatever. Congrats
to all the winners. There were so many. It's hard to get into all of it. As far as just the team stuff, I already talked about the females one. For me, watching the men's team fighting, just big ups to the coaching of Murphy Gonzalez. This dude just knew his fighters. He put in Hector Solari first against Oscar, 4-0. He puts in Tobias in against what's the guy's name? Jose
Ibarra.
Yeah, Ibarra, and 4-0. So they're up 8-0 with Kevin versus Christian. Okay. Christian makes a good comeback, but really at that point, Kevin just needs to do a couple of defensive things and they win. So great job to Murphy on that, on getting the matchups he wanted. But again, it's great to see those guys because Tony's an awesome coach too, and Tony has a great group that he's coaching as well. That was cool.
Coaches going against one another.
Right. And also big ups to Jasmine. She won the open weight over Yamina. That was her first big win in our sport. So she comes from a Taekwondo background. So was cool to see that. For me, watching the men's forms, Singal killed it, Salif killed it, and then Esteban killed it. So that one was
Salif
really
was there?
tough.
I didn't see Salif.
Yeah, Salif was there as well. Yep. And so that was really cool. I don't know. I mean, honestly, that was probably the toughest one to look at, to be like, who wins this? I mean, I could have chosen 3 different ones on that one because still, dude, like anytime I see Singal float in the air, do a double B twist into a split, it's like, it's pure art. You know what I mean? The way it is, it's hard to beat that. So
he's an all-out performer. If you guys don't remember the show that we had with Sengao on, go watch that. Your jaw will be on the floor. All right. Number one, how his whole upbringing, right? But then he was like basically a Broadway performer doing kung fu.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So let me get into. So again, I made it into the finals for the traditional grands. That was a lot of fun. Was up there again. Got a lot of comments after. Just telling me to continue doing what I'm doing, which is cool. The next day, I'm traveling, I'm leaving, I'm doing all this. Put your pinky away. I love it. And, I'll just kind of tell you, I meet Travis at the AAU Nationals. I go in as an unknown, really. There was a few people that day I found out that kind of knew who I was, but it was still a whole new experience, right? Like I said, 14 forms in one day. Every round was head to head. I don't know if I can get into this whole story. Maybe I'll share more another week, but it was a really cool experience for me as a competitor. I'm going to tell you what, especially going from the US Open to this, I just felt like I was just able to compete and relax. I didn't have all the pressure on me, you know. And then you don't have all the drama of figuring out, hey, are you going to be in the finals if you're not? You know, all this stuff that people are, you know, you don't have all the teams and everything and trying to coach this or that. You know, next year when I bring some students, it may be a little bit different, but it was really, really cool. Yeah, I don't know how, but I am. But the first, I'll share the story that I was telling Travis when I was there. So the first person I pull of the whole event, I have to do 3 different styles. Okay. So I do the World Taekwondo division, I do the ITF division, I do the Tang Soo Do division, and then I do the open division, which has all of them together. Right. So
now, when you compete, are they all head to head? And then you move on?
Everything's head to head.
Everything is head to head. When I tell you the experience of going to this, just watching and being there, I was like, yo, this is dope. I was sitting there thinking to myself, this is dope. Now, you know, some of the people weren't the best at it, but there were some people that were very good, and then there were some people just kind of like, but the experience of how they have everything set up and the professionalism of everything, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but whatever. But I'm gonna let Jeff finish.
Well, yeah, dude, they ran 2,500 competitors doing forms head to head in one day. And I was done by 5:30.
That was Tuesday, bro. That was Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because Monday was point fighting. They had 500 competitors.
My mind doesn't know how to comprehend this.
Right. It's crazy.
500 fighters in a day.
Yeah, 500 fighters on
Monday, just competitors on Monday. And then on Wednesday was 2,500. And when I'm gonna show you the line that they had for Olympic style fighting, that was ridiculous. I didn't go by there Thursday and Friday. Yeah,
they had 3 days of Olympic style fighting. 3 days.
That's how many competitors were there.
Here's the deal with this too. You know what was going on at the same time? USTA, which is the organization that picks the Olympic team, their nationals is going on the exact same time. So some people were going from there to there. And then so imagine that many competitors while you also have your biggest competitor putting their nationals head to head against you.
No, look, they had a staging area that threw me off. It's like, so you have all like that. Let's say I think they had 20 rings, right? You go back into the staging area, only the athletes and the coaches. Yeah, 8 judges per ring, right?
Yep.
8 judges. But anyway, you go into the back, and all of them getting paid. You go into the back of the into the staging area, and they have like these chairs and section off for each ring. So you have like ring 1, and it's like 20 chairs just sitting there. So your warm up area, and they have like little barriers. And you go to ring 2, and it's just like sitting there. So you have your own little area just to warm up, relax, and only the athletes and the coaches are back there, and they stage you for what ring when you're about to go out there. Then once you get out there, they had chairs on the inside, so they were sitting down in chairs for the next division. So the next division is one division is up, and the next division they're just sitting in chairs right by the ring. So it's not like
a mat too for you.
Yeah, they had a mat for you to stitch this. The setup was dope. Then it was 10 by 10 with the mats. And we're 8 by 8. They were 10 by 10, and then they had it cut as an octagon, right? So it was 10 by 10 on the outside. But then you know how you have like it was like blue on the outside, and then the ring was red. The red ring, they had it like cut to be an octagon on the edges. It was actually pretty dope, man. It was a dope.
It's really cool, right? It is sick. Yeah. So I mean, just the whole setup was cool.
At one point, this is amazing.
Yeah, and what's awesome is that all of us are going head to head. By the end of the day, all of us have gone, like I've went against everyone that was in my division at least once, sometimes 2 or 3 times by all.
How many people in your division?
There's like probably 8 to 10 in each one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
broken up a lot because what it is, it's like age group and then degrees. So like I'm just competing against 4 degrees and up. So, and I can't compete. I can't do forms that are higher than my rank. And we have to stay within that black belt range too. So it's really cool.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we're going head to head. We're doing this. The first person I pull. So if you know me, I'm more of an ITF competitor, right? Now, again, I know the the Shotokan forms, and I know so. And Tang Soo Do is
you're a Shotokan
Korean
black belt also, right?
Yes, Korean. Tang Soo Do is a Korean. Is the Korean Shotokan pretty much? So I can kind of do those forms. WT, like they're okay, you know. Like it's choreo. I didn't want to do choreo, so I watched Tay Beck 2 days before, right? I watched it. I'm going up there against a former Sport Poomsae USTA champion. My first head-to-head that I had for the whole weekend. My first competition is against this guy. I can't even say his name because it's not, you know, it's Korean. And so he's sharp. Whatever form that his opponent would do, he'd say he was doing it too. Say, all right, well, I'll do whatever. Yeah. And so so I go in, I'm like, oh crap. Well, this will be a good warm-up. So I go in and I beat this guy head to head in Tay Beck. And his whole team were about to like kill me. It was crazy. But
wait a minute. I gotta you said Tay Beck.
Tay Beck, yeah.
That's the way you pronounce it?
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
Have I been I would always say Gaybeck.
No, wrong form.
It's a different form.
Different form. There's Tay Beck that is the WT form. It's completely different form. Yeah. Gaybeck is an ITF form. Yeah. It's completely different.
Okay. All right. See, I'm a Korean stylist, but apparently I'm a novice one.
Yes. So
we changed all those names, so I have no idea which form.
So I did that, right? I go against this guy. So I'm going to the next round, beat another guy, then go to the finals, and both of us are doing Tay Beck again, and I win that. So what's cool about this, though, is that if you lose, you're not completely out of it. What they do is because they do something called Brazilian repecharge. So pretty much saying that, because I won the whole division, everyone that I beat can come back in and go against each other to get second place. Okay.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it makes it because, again, and this happened in almost every time that I won, the person that I beat first round was probably the second best person in the division in most cases. So I had to beat them first round. So that guy came back and beat everybody to get silver. So he beat the person I beat in the finals. So no matter what, if you win or lose, you're doing a lot of forms. You're almost doing more forms if you lose than if you win, but it's kind of crazy. So I win that, and I'm just kind of like, all right, well, here we go. I better win ITF or I'll look really stupid. So I won that, and honestly, I had a couple of spots where I almost, like, the mats were like brand new.
Yeah, I saw that.
I almost fell in a couple of spots, man.
What kind of mats were they?
Don't fall. Don't fall. But
do you know what kind of mats they were?
I didn't even look at what style what company they were. Did you, Travis?
No,
I didn't.
I mean, they were still puzzle mats. So
yeah, they were puzzle mats, but yeah. So
they weren't swinging. The only thing we know is that they weren't swinging.
Right. So I put that. I win the ITF. I go in again, first time ever doing Basai So in the Tang Soo Do division. I get a second place. So again, by the 3 divisions I've already done like 16 forms. No, I'm sorry. I said 14 forms. 10 forms. Okay. I've already done 10 forms. So now we have the open division. By the time we've done the open, all of us compete against each other. What's cool about this experience is that we're all hanging out. We're having fun. We're like our own little fraternity, man. And maybe it's because of our age, because we're all like in that.
Weren't you 33? 33
it was 33 to 42.
Yeah.
I was the second oldest person in the division. I competed as 40. So a lot of the other people were 33, 34. So I was still one of the oldest ones. And all of us are just, having a good time, no pressure, because we've all gone against each other. I didn't win any of my divisions. I think maybe one unanimous. Open, I go in and I'm just like, I'm going to dominate. And I won everyone 3-0 in that last one. And so I felt real confident finishing that way in that weekend.
Okay, now pause.
So,
what is open?
Open means
what is the difference in open versus the
So it'd be Tang Soo Do, the ITF, WT, all of that.
Against-
Every style. You can do any style.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Any
what
style.
did you do in open?
So on that one, I went and I said, I'm going to do the ground version of the most traditional version of OG that I can. So I just said, I'm going to go with my best form, and I'm just going to do that. I don't, sometimes some people have taught it with the inside crescent side kick. I took the side kick out and just focused on hitting my hand as hard as I could. And it worked. It was good. It felt great. I didn't know because the judges, the previous division, I was like, oh God, can we get some new judges? Because it seemed a little crazy. They were judging like the underbelt division, and every single person that I thought won, they voted the complete opposite. So I was a little shaky going in there. And then when we first saw, like, okay, they were good when it came to the black belt forms for some reason. But yeah, so it was really cool experience. I'm pretty sure I think they'll announce next week who made the national teams. So
What, you already know?
They'll announce all that stuff. I'm pretty sure I made it for my age group and my spot and my rank because I won the most.
Wait, isn't it black and white? Don't you just find out, like, did you win and then you made it? How does that work?
No. It's like a points thing. So if I win, so there's 4 divisions. You get 7 points for first place, 5 points for second place.
Oh.
So it's like that. They'll just tally it and officially say it. I know unofficially that I made it because I had the most of anyone in my rank of any age group.
Without being announced, you already kind of know.
So that I'm interested to hear about that experience and see what that's like, because it's kind of cool to see. They have some training camps and have different things and sponsoring different events. So that's cool. And then I'll share in another week of some other things that have kind of came up because of everything that's happened since the Battle of Atlanta, U.S. Open, and this experience. Some doors that I thought weren't going to open for me kind of have. I'll just say in the ITF world, the ITF America kind of have reached out to me to say that they'd like for me to compete on their circuit, on their world circuit. But, training with them and learning how to do the sine wave more and be able to compete.
You're gonna talk about that. Well, you'll talk about that at another time.
Yeah, I'll talk about another time. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. But yeah,
because you're not really a sine wave guy.
Well, I can do it.
He's an international sensation because of that.
Yeah, international. Yeah,
or lightning rod, I should say.
Yeah, I'll share that. But yeah, so really cool, man. Overall, great experience. Would love have been there a little bit more. Would like to have been there for the point fighting. Next year, that it's going to be at the same place, Fort Lauderdale. The year after, it'll be in Salt Lake City. So I think, there was even a guy from Italy there, from the Red Devils team, that was there fighting. He's a exchange student, so he was there competing. So lots of cool stuff.
And Martin Amber's the point fighting coach.
Yes, and we have a good interview, I think.
Yeah, we have an interview. I need to put that out. I need to edit that up and put that out. Yeah, we sat and talked to him about his experience doing it.
Yeah. So overall, really cool, huge venue. At the same time that was going on, the Karate Nationals was going on next door, and all of our sport karate guys won as well. Joey Castro won. Amanda Durante won. Amber Rutherford won like 4 golds. Logan Goodman won.
She won in fighting too.
Yeah, she won fighting. She won the open weight fighting.
Won the WKF fighting?
That's the Kumite. So it's really cool, man. All right, so we are going to go over because we have to talk about this, and we have the director on, so we'll blame it on him.
I got the okay. The director okayed it.
Yeah. All right, so let's play some videos of the new JPM members. If you guys do not know, we got D Stacks, we got Devin Hopper, we got Kitana Everett, and we got the return to JPM of Cam Dawson. So pretty much TDE went over to JPM.
Right.
So what is everyone's first reaction when you saw that or you heard that? I was like, oh crap.
I mean, kind of. You know what? I had a great first reaction because I really thought about it, and I thought, you know what? Because none of the, I mean, I guess now that these guys have left, they were all on TDE. I guess we kind of look at it and like, all right, I'm not saying anything, but it kind of looks like, all right, well, I guess TDE might not be the thing that it was. All right. And we can get into more of that if that becomes to be a thing that we get into, but we don't need it to be. All right. But what it looks to be is that JPM, for the first time in 20 years, grabbed the best fighters available.
In America, yeah.
In America, yeah. In America, grab the best fighters in America available, you know? Because if you were to look at it and be like, all right,
wait a minute.
Just saying.
No. They weren't available.
Right.
Well,
right.
Here's the thing. In this, you might be right. I think you're probably right. All right. In our world, everyone's available. And I've said this a lot of times.
Well, okay.
Everyone's available.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but there's certain fighters that just, okay, yeah, everyone's available, but come on, that's not going to happen. Like,
right.
Taking Bailey from straight up, I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Taking Avery anywhere from where, Richard Plowden is at, that's not going to happen. All right. So, all right. Then who's the next best available? You kind of got those guys. All right. So I would say that. And then you got the best female fighter available. You grabbed Katana Everett. So I think they did. I think they got the best fighters available, even though they were already on teams. Right?
Right.
So if you were to make everyone available, all right, like, all right, everyone's a free agent, but who's actually going to leave their team? I think they probably grabbed those people.
Well, and what they did, though, too, they didn't, bring one from one team, one the other, to try to mold something to see how it works together. Much like what they did on the form side, they brought people already on the team that have a connection, that have a group, that have that team mentality, and brought them onto JPM. Because all these guys are like brothers and sisters now. You know what I mean? Like, they've been a team for a long time now. D is very new, but he's been under that tutelage of Cam for a while now. So I think it kind of goes together, those guys are a team. Same thing with the form side with, you're talking about when they brought in Ben, Dawson, and Esteban. Those guys were together for years on Competitive Edge, brought them to JPM.
Yeah, it's not really as, I guess we're going to talk about it being controversial because these guys all came from one team, because in the forms it's different emotionally, because when you do forms, you do it by yourself,
Yeah, true.
I mean,
well, team forms.
There's fighting. Yeah, the team forms. Okay, all right. Ben Jones is the only one that really, pushes the needle in that, because he literally is on two teams.
Right.
All right. But, all right.
So you want my
Go ahead, Travis. Go ahead.
Go.
It's all about relationships.
Yep.
That's the first thing I saw when I thought this.
That's a great.
So the first thing I thought was Cam. The relationship between Cam and Damon.
Yep.
Is a very close one, like very, very close with Cam and Damon. So it got me going back to thinking about when Cam and Gerald left Paul Mitchell to go to TDE.
Go ahead.
Right? And so I was sitting there just looking at that. Right. It's part of the story, right? Because they're saying Cam came back. So it's like, yeah. So when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at, the relationships that they had and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just looking at it. And, if anybody doesn't know, me and Dame are really close. So me and Dame talk all the time. So because of that, I was just kind of I just kind of sat there and looked at it and said, that's the relationship that Cam and Dame have. Right. So, and then I started thinking about how this would have played out. If Dame was asking Cam to come back, I see Cam being a very loyal person saying, hey, I'm not leaving my people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I'm not leaving Stacks. I'm not leaving, because Stacks literally left his school team to come to TDE. So because him and Cam's relationship, Katana and Cam are very close. Devin, every time you see Devin getting coached is by Cam, right? So when I sat there and looked at this, I was like, oh, okay. And I looked at it from that standpoint. It's not that the other fighters aren't bad, but it started like I looked at it as Cam saying, hey, look, if you want me, you got to take the other people, right? Yep. I'm not saying I talk to anybody. I'm not saying it. That's just because I know how Cam's, you know, relation. Like Cam is a very loyal person. Mm-hmm. So the other thing I looked at was I looked back at, because I spoke to Devin at the U.S. Open, right? And because Devin was wearing a uniform that was this points fighter, he was wearing it, and he wore it the whole weekend.
What is that?
I asked him that. I said, "What's points fighter?" He's like, "It's out of Europe. Like they're out of Europe. They sponsored me to fight." And da. I didn't think anything of it. I was kind of like, all right, because I've seen Cam wear a Metro uniform. I've seen other people wear different stuff. Like literally,
didn't Cam wear a JPM uniform just a couple years back?
Well, for his father. So like, there's not like, so it wasn't like out of the realm that somebody on TDE might wear something else as a respect or something else. Because Stacks, when he got there, he had on a Metro jacket. Had on a Metro All-Stars jacket when he was walking around the U.S. Open.
Where in the world did he get that?
I would assume Cam, because Cam and Mallory. So it was like that. So he had a Metro jacket on. So I was like, oh, me and Chris dapped him up. Like, oh my God, that's cold. Got that Metro jacket on. So we dapped him up about it. So now somebody's been asking. I don't see it, but somebody kept asking like, yo, was the team over?
Yeah.
I don't know that we're inner workings of what was going on with TD. Could not tell. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on what was going on. All I know is when I saw this, the first thing I thought was, holy, okay. Yeah. Paul, and I started thinking about the team. Like, where is everybody going? What is everybody going to do? I instantly thought back to U.S. Open for first and second weight in the middleweight division. The last two fighters, and it was a war between Alex Macias and Darren Payne.
Darren Payne, yeah.
And Alex prevailed. So I sat there and was like, well, all right. Well, I guess either they're going to be battling at every tournament or one of them's going down the light middle. So I don't know which way this is going to work, but hey, they're going to make it work. It doesn't make a difference. Right. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. But then I started thinking about, all right, team fights. Alex hasn't fought teams in a long time. Yeah. Unless somebody grabs him and says, hey, you know what? Let's grab him. Let's do this.
Yeah, because at U.S. Open last year
he was with like Avery and Hector, or
Justice or something.
It was Murphy grabbed. I think Murphy grabbed people, right, and put people together. So it was, but it's rare that
doing that.
Alex Macias gets the team fight. So now I thought about the team that they could put together possibly with Darren, Alex, Cam, and Stacks. Devin. Yeah. Devin. So it's like, this is going to be a formidable thing. Then I sat down and said, oh, wait, Katana and Katarina?
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Jeez,
where are we going with this one?
Right.
So I was like, okay. That whole thing I did a couple months ago about which team had the best overall team is null and void now. It's Paul Mitchell.
It's Paul Mitchell. Yep.
It's clear as day who has the best overall team right now. Yeah, because they got everything covered. Yep. And I will say this: watch that junior they got, Jake Muke.
Yep.
Oh, I don't really talk about juniors much, but that kid is nice. So they have something building right there, and he's going to be on the lighter side. It looks like probably unless he has a growth spurt, because he's only 15, so he can easily have a late growth spurt. So
him and Sebastian, they're doing big things down there.
I haven't got a chance to really watch Sebastian, but I've seen Jake a few times. Every time I've watched him, I'm like, oh my God, he's not soft. So,
Joe.
Joe.
We will see.
But this brings back another old rivalry of Paul Mitchell and Straight Up.
Straight Up, so, I love it.
Yeah, so we're this is going to be interesting because they punch counter punch, right? So, because they grabbed Kevin this year.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? Straight Up has been doing a lot right now, man. They've been picking up a lot of people, and they've been showing who they're like their top level, but they also been putting out 2 teams as well to build those other guys up. So it's really cool to see how that's going to go. And then you know what? Last at battle, who won women's fighting? Straight Up at US
Karina,
Open.
yeah.
At US Open, who wins women's open weight? Straight Up.
Jasmine.
So really interesting, overall on the fighting side. I don't know if Joe's getting back into picking up people for forums again, but hey, who knows? but yeah, I mean, as far as the fighting side, I think it's going to be really cool to see this. And then I've just said plenty of times too, the team that seems to always be in the final, no matter what tournament it is Top 10 USA, and they always end up against these guys. So
they're kind of like the most successful afterthought.
Who?
Right.
Top 10 USA.
I mean, it's
well, you know what? That's funny because when I mentioned this before about who has the best overall fighting team, Tyreek came to me in Miami. It was like, I got a bone to pick with you. Now, you said this, I was like, all right, but who's your woman fighter? And he's like,
yeah.
I said, who's your woman fighter? Like that's where you got to go for it. Like when you look at the overall squad, you got to look at every.
And there's enough of them out there now. You can grab one.
Well, you got to take.
Well, there's one that they just haven't done.
Right.
Well, there's one that they haven't done, which I'm trying to figure out when it's sooner or later it should happen. Is Brianna?
Brianna, yeah.
Like that one makes the most sense.
Yeah. Well, they have Tahira.
Yeah.
But she's still young.
Yeah.
So Trav, I'm glad you're here for this because I started kicking around this because I had the same thought process you did when you said, I mean, JPM kind of seems like the team to beat now. Well, woo! If you were to put, let's just say, of the teams that are there, and we talked about Straight Up, and then Straight Up constructed as it is right now, if you were to say, let's Straight Up just beat JPM, that's not crazy to think. I mean,
not at all.
You got a team.
Let's be honest. When you have Bailey, because you're not. I don't see Cam. I don't see Kevin and Brandon getting blown out. Then when you have Bailey as your anchor, there's not really much to talk about.
I think of Brandon though, man.
Anchor either. Kevin could anchor.
No, yeah, but Brandon.
Not when you have Bailey. I just wouldn't do it.
No, but Brandon, man, Brandon is like one of the best team fighters that there is. We've said so many times that we thought, oh, this is a matchup where this person's we're putting him on him because he's gonna blow out Brandon, and it never happens. And we've seen it plenty of times. We talked about it 3 or 4 years ago with at Diamonds they put Jason on Brandon, so this is a good matchup for Jason to get points. Didn't happen, right? Even at Battle of Atlanta, same thing. Oh, Tyreek on Brandon because they want to get some more points. Didn't happen, right? So I don't know, man. I think of him as, I think of him as his own fighter, but I kind of put him at like Freddie LePan type.
Nah, he's better.
Someone. Oh, as an overall fighter,
he's better than that.
Well, listen, here you go. Yes, maybe in that point, but
I'm not talking Freddie at all.
50 years old, and this dude is in the best shape of half the people on the circuit, and he's still looking like awesome when he's fighting. So again, we can have that discussion another time about longevity and how we will have that discussion. But what I'm saying though is that Freddie, it's that same mindset of someone who plays his role great and just is a bad matchup for everybody. So
I'll say this: as when it comes to teams and team forms, team fighting, men, women, I don't see an unbeatable team.
No.
Yes.
I honestly don't. I do not see an unbeatable team because I was just thinking about this. If you have Oscar Coca, you have Garcia, and you have Christian.
Yeah.
If Garcia plays the low count game,
Yep.
right? Like, and then you have Coca who can beat anybody, and then you have Christian. Like I'm not saying that they can't
Right.
beat
I agree.
JPM. I can't that they can't beat straight up. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that what just happened was a shift in power back to Paul Mitchell at this point, because now at this point you picking up those four
Right.
without heavyweights. They are heavyweights, literally and figuratively, to put them on your squad. Now it's going to be. Now it's going to see. This is going to be an interesting thing right now.
Well, because hey, let's just say this: TDE hasn't won every time that they put that team out. They haven't won teams every time. You know what I mean?
Won a lot.
They've won a lot. But what I'm saying, so now we're taking Ryan out and putting in Alex in that spot. So again, straight up has beaten them. Top 10 has either beaten them or gotten close to beating them. You know, so. But now we're talking about JPM overall having that in there, like you're saying, that's huge, right?
All right, this is a direct question. It's kind of hard to avoid this. So Alex, Jeff, and Travis, what's your opinion on the JPM move in terms of mentality, respect, opportunistic move?
So we kind of said everyone in our sport's kind of open, even though they weren't picked up. We kind of pointed at this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and to answer that question, I would answer it the way, Travis, the way you first said it. Like, this just says relationships right here. The fact that they all came from one team and everybody just put on the same uniform now, I think we're okay. I'm going to say a couple things. There's just something about putting on that uniform.
There is.
There's just something about it. You and speak on it, Travis, because I've never put the uniform on. All right. You just feel different when you put it on.
Well, not even just that, the opportunities that you get, right? Like, look, what's about to happen for them that I don't think they really understand that I mean, I remember there was photo shoots for magazines. There's people that's going to be wanting them to do more seminars. There's going to be their international name is going to be bigger. Like, their names are actually going to be bigger. People are going to start talking to them who they don't even know, right? Like the biggest jump is going to be for Darren right now. Like, his cachet is going to jump up a lot just off of that. But when you walk in there and you say, I'm a member of Paul Mitchell, it doesn't matter what martial arts arena you walk into, it instantly changes the conversation of how people see you. I literally can go somewhere and say, I used to be on Paul Mitchell, and I was, and it's like, whoa, wait, what?
To say,
yeah. But let me say something to. I don't want to butcher it. Yeah. As far as the opinion about in terms of morality, respect, and opportunistic moves, right? It happens all of the time, and when you stop and look, with the exception of Devin, Katana, and maybe Devin, I can't remember when Devin got on, how he got on. I can't remember if he was WKF or not.
No, I don't. He wasn't.
Right. So I think he was
on
by him.
Bring It.
He was on Bring It, right?
Bring It,
yeah.
They all left a team to go to TDE.
Correct.
Right. Cam left Paul Mitchell. Literally, Darren left Next Level and went to TDE.
And at that time, that was a big deal.
And it was a big decision because everybody was like, "Wait, what?" Oh, because nobody had ever left Next Level, because it's a family thing. Right. So it was kind of a shock that it would happen. Yep. So when it happens the other way, it's kind of the nature of our sport. Like, it's not a lot of people who leave. it's not a lot of people who leave. Like, that's why when people left Paul Mitchell, it was a big thing. It's not a lot of people who literally leave Paul Mitchell, right? Like it's rare. So
and that's why there's the alumni. That the alumni of Paul Mitchell, that's a real thing, because you don't. I don't think there's like an alumni of like any other. There isn't an alumni of any other team, because
look, it's not too many more. It's not too many teams that are still around.
Exactly.
But when I was at the U.S. Open, I saw Chris Rapoport, and I went and talked to him. I saw him. I was like, "Oh shoot, Chris!" So I walked over there, and after that we was chatting, and and then Chris was like, "Hey, have you met the new members?" Because he said whenever somebody alumni comes around, I have to meet. So he pointed at Alex and Haley. I was like, "Yeah, I already know him. I met him." Blah blah. I haven't met the forums guys. Like I've met Jake. I think I've met Sean. I haven't met Sebastian. I haven't seen him. So. But I haven't, so I've talked to a lot of them, but I don't run around and just say like da da da. But so it's kind of you're in the club, I guess you'll say whatever. But
I gotta say the alumni thing for JPM is something no other team has. I think Straight Up could do that.
Straight Up 1000% could do that.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
I think now, who knows? I know Joe listens. Maybe Joe's gonna do that now, but who knows?
Yeah.
But it's a big difference maker to know, like, when you're done, you still want to hang out, you still want to be around. That's a couple years ago. I'm hanging out at the Diamonds, and I'm hanging with my homie Greg. And he's not even fighting. He walks in with a Team Paul Mitchell t-shirt on. I'm like, dude, you've been retired for 3-4 years. Right. You still feel like you are obligated to put the t-shirt on? What's wrong?
No, but look, if you walk in with that shirt on, I'm gonna tell you right now,
I know
security walks out the way. Like literally, like the places that you want, it's almost like you just walk in, like, all right, like okay, oh, he's
I know
person. They just kind of get out your way and leave you alone. So the cachet that comes with it is different. But
yeah. And there's no perfect team. No. There's no such thing as a perfect team. There's no perfect experience. And people move teams for reasons. People join teams for reasons. People leave teams for reasons. There's no such thing as a perfect team. But I do want to talk about the fighters, Travis, and I'm glad you're here for this. So,
all right,
you mentioned there's no such thing as fast in this show. So you mentioned, like, they're all heavyweights.
Yeah.
When you were fighting, you guys were all heavyweights.
Except one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Alex Lane was not a heavyweight.
Yeah, he wasn't heavy.
What was he? Well,
we were all big. We were all big fighters.
All big fighters, tall.
With the exception of Greg. Greg wasn't.
But Greg was heavy. Greg was a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
I thought about that, and I'm like, okay. Actually, Mike P, when he came back for a stint with you guys, he might have been the lightest one, right?
Wow.
Well, no, there's nobody lighter than Alex Lane. But anyway, the point is, with Damon, you, Greg, Elias, that's a long, and Alex Lane, that's DeAndre, a long, tall, heavier team.
DeAndre, yep.
And don't forget, when I got there, Joey was still on the team. Trevor was technically still on the team.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see
nobody's sub 170 pounds.
I don't see it as that big of a deal that other people are like, oh, why they pick up all heavyweight? They're all heavyweights. Like, okay, TDE was all heavyweights. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah, they all came from one side.
Yeah, it's like, so what? Like, that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
The thing I thought about later on, and maybe I think today I actually thought about, was the progression as a fighter that these gentlemen and lady have to make. What I mean by that is, right now you don't see Katana fighting that much. You don't see Cam fighting that much.
Yeah.
You see Devin fighting a lot, and you don't see Darren fighting a lot.
So if they moved, it had to be for a reason.
You. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
Why would you move if you're not fighting? If you're not gonna fight?
Read between the lines of something I said earlier.
You moved to do what?
Guys,
I will say,
I mean, they've done 1, 2, 3, they've been to 4 out of the 5 NASCAs, or 6 now out of the 7 NASCAs this year.
Who?
Like TDE did. They were at AKAs,
but
they
not
were at
all of them.
Ocean State.
Devin was at AKA.
They were at Quebec, and they were at Battle of Atlanta.
Devin has
now,
been there
some
at
people,
all of these events.
Yeah, some of these people chose not to fight at different ones because of
and
other
Katana fought
personal.
at Quebec.
Yes, Katana and Cam did not fight at Battle. Okay,
Yeah.
We know why.
No. So what I was saying was the fact that Darren is, to me, has to be the one to make the largest jump.
Yep.
As far as a fighter, lot of potential. I want to see how high he can go, because he has not won since that AKA.
Since he won the Warrior Cup.
Yeah.
Beating Cam.
So he had, so it's kind of like, okay, wait, we got to see him. Can Dame unlock Darren to get back to and actually get past and get and improve? Because like just the way you've seen Alex Mancias improving over these last couple of years.
I'm gonna give it to them. Listen,
so I want to see the progression of Darren. Devin has to stay on it. Devin is fighting so much, and I think part of what's helping Devin is that he was with Point Fighting Professionals with and doing all of the different trainings and going different places and fighting and being active, and he's been off for the last couple of years, but I've seen a growth since this last year that Devin has had
big time,
a big time growth. And I'm watching him, I'm like, yo, he's a better fighter. Like, I'm just watching him, thinking back to when I was fighting him 6 years ago in like at Chris's school. I'm thinking about just as a fighter, Devin is better than when he was, years ago. So I'm looking at that. And I'm like, okay,
him at Chris's school.
Devin, when I fought my last stint in 2017, Devin was there teaching at TDE. Yeah, he was in Georgia, and I would spar him. He would be there, and he would be on there. People there sparring with us and everything. And Devin right now is a better fighter, so he's
way better now.
And he's made a large jump over the last 2 years. So I'm watching him like, okay, yes, that's kind of I want to see this. The next one is Katana. She's been making a lot of improvements over the last couple of years. I've watched. She doesn't. She used to come out and be a lot more active. She's thinking more. But I want to see how she interacts here with Dame and the coaching that style that Dame has, because it's a completely different style, and Dame's coaching style is completely different than Josh's and Alex's coaching style.
Can I chime in on that one?
Yeah, go ahead. And Cam's just going to be Cam. Like Cam is the way he is because of the coaching from Dame.
Yeah,
and Gerald and Moff.
Yeah.
So when you mention Katana, I think the relationship and the training that Katana has been experiencing with Chris.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that JPM allows Chris to have a voice. And
I don't think that's going to stop. I don't think that's going to stop.
What do you mean? No, I mean,
I don't think that's going to stop unless Katana doesn't stay in Atlanta.
Right.
If she's still in Atlanta, she's still going to train. She's still going to be,
I don't mean training. I mean on the performance day, on the competition.
Well, I mean,
Chris isn't in the chair.
Yeah, he's never in the chair, but he's just talking to her before, after, in between.
Yeah.
Giving little advice.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to change.
That is what I mean. That is what I mean.
Yeah.
Those things.
Oh yeah, that's that. I don't think necessarily that.
I think that's a massive difference. If you allow, because if you take someone who's training with you all the time, and there are teams that say, no, don't pay attention to them. You're here with us today, right? And it's like, wait a minute, I train with this person every freaking day, and now I'm supposed to pretend like they don't exist, right? So I think that the influence and the help that Chris has been having with Katana, I think if that continues to go, I think she's going to have a lot of success. I think if you were to be like, no, you wear this now, I don't think that would help. So if you're saying, nah, you don't think that's going to be an issue, I don't
think that's going to be an issue.
All right.
That's like somebody telling me my uncle couldn't say something to me. Like,
and that's what I was going to say as well.
Yeah.
No,
you look at them like they had two heads.
Yeah, no, it was no way. But at the same time, my uncle was alumni, so
exactly.
But yeah, no.
Man, all right.
Well, now I got another question. Okay.
All right.
So
Jeff been like, oh, hey,
just give it up, Jeff. You're not eating.
I'm not going to bed tonight.
I haven't eaten either. Okay. So we got this team, right?
Yep.
That looks like, okay, we were having questions on who's the best team. Kind of looks like it's headed this direction. All right. With a pickup here and there from this team, that team, this one, and that one, what would you do? What would you move to best combat that move? And let's look at all the other moves. Let's look at all the other teams that we have.
Right, but some of the teams don't. Yeah, but here's the deal. Let's look at this. Straight up doesn't need to.
That was just what I was going to say. I wouldn't touch straight up.
To combat.
I wouldn't touch straight up.
I don't even think. I think if I don't really even feel that top 10 needs to do anything to combat, but maybe add a heavyweight.
That's
fighter.
only 2 teams. What about the rest of them?
Of course.
Honestly, I don't. I'm thinking about the teams. It's only
Legend, man. They have a great team. I just think they got to put it all together. You know.
All right, now let's look at who.
The only other team would be Diamond.
Who?
Yeah,
what
Diamond
fighters. Great fighters are realistically available that could move if a phone call was made. And then if you paired them with this person and that person, I'm going to say it right now. What's happening with KTOC? And you smile because apparently you have an answer. You know something. Of course you know something.
Joe, you're right. Legend has a great team. Yeah.
Legend does have a great team. All right. But you know something. But there's a couple fighters out there that I'm like, listen, you pair this person, you pair that person, something could happen. And a bunch of people have been chiming in the comments here. Like, what about Ryan George? Right. What about Ryan George? Or Ryan George and now Zach Winder. Okay. Yeah. They were TDE. Are they just going to fight by themselves? Or is TDE going to pick up someone else to pair with them? Or are now they available? All right. So.
Well, I'll say this. The Point Fighter live post that they made yesterday, talking about a new team. I don't know what the new team is going to be. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
So maybe something there. So there's probably moves that are being made. There maybe I would assume TDE, if they wanted to continue competing and being out, that they would be trying to find a way to make moves.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if they may try and do the thing that JPM did a few years ago where they went and got international.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do what Impex and KTOC did and merge with another team. I don't know. I honestly don't know what their move was going to be. It all depends on what they want to do. Right? What does Josh want to do?
Right. I don't know.
I don't know, but like what you just said, like with the Impex and KTOC thing, when they merged and they still got one great fighter.
Well, and they just haven't competed together that much.
Two teams and they still got one guy.
Yeah. So
I ain't wrong.
The ones that merge, you also talk about Diamond and Alliance, or whatever that was. They merged and now they have a huge team. I think Diamond could be a great team as well, but they don't always have the same team every time. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, I'm going to throw out a couple of names. Tell me what you think. Okay. And I'm going to throw this out as a whole. Do we know what's happening with all stars? There's the young guys. We don't, like, obviously any team that acquires the long-standing all-stars,
right?
Jack, Chris, Robbie. I don't know if they're point fighting. I don't know if they're available. I don't know if it's even possible. If it's like, guys, been there, done that. I'm not happening. Okay, that's fine.
All Stars is in the position that they've been in the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years.
But
they
I'm not
fight
just
when they
talking
want to
about
fight.
them.
It's like they come out when they want to come out. Like,
what about the younger guys?
Well, if you've noticed, Ben and them go out and fight.
Yeah,
they're out competing. You'll see Ben,
That's
you'll
what I'm
see
talking
Hunter.
about.
Hunter.
So what if Tobias Lopez was to be had? And obviously, what if the greatest fighter in the world, Elijah Everell, was to be had? I don't know if he can point fight anymore because of his contract.
Like I was about to say, I don't foresee.
Yeah.
Ben just chimed in, and that was where I was going.
Yep.
Hunter Stevens.
Yep.
That guy. And he ended up on he ended up on someone's team.
Well, here's the thing.
He was fighting active. I think that is a massive impact. That kid is good.
Right. Oh, Tobias has been out. Hunter. That's what I'm saying. So All Stars are around.
Yeah, they're around. Yep.
But are they together? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know what to say there. I have theories about it, but
so let's
don't know what's going on with them.
Let's say KTOC, Impex. Let's say they were to say, "Hey, Hunter, Tobias, come on over. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
Let's come pair you up with the greatest heavyweight in the world."
Well, listen, they also have Michael McCree, who is an awesome specimen. That kid's going to be great.
You see what
they have young fighters. They have Michael and they
Hector,
have the Nico.
They have Hector. They have Hector on them.
They got Hector.
They also got the other kid the other Canadian kid, North, right? Liam. I don't know if he's adult yet, but yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? So we're talking about a lot of guys that are somewhat active, sometimes not. This person, that person. If you got a team, and this is what people try to do, like, let's consolidate. And we just talked about consolidating Impex and KTOC, and that went not great, right? And only because guys just decided, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. Nothing on the teams, all right? I'm going to assume, all right? So, but now we've got the best heavyweight in the world and Avery Plowden. Who we would pairing him with?
Well,
you see what I'm saying now? If you could be like, and I'm pinpointing that team specifically because he's that great. So now, if you were to say, all right, this person, that person, all right, you're right here. You're amazing to be had. If we put that together, all right, or maybe Diamond comes out. Diamond's too big, all right? I don't know. I guess I was specifically thinking of KTOC because of this move. I saw Cam and I'm like, what's going to happen here? KTOC, what do you got?
Yeah.
What do you think, Trav?
What do I think is going to happen with KTOC?
All of it.
I don't think anybody's going to make any moves just yet.
Just
because let me okay. I'm anticipating the next tournament right now is going to be Capital Classics.
Right.
Caps. So I would assume
an absolute classic.
I would assume Cam and Darren will be there competing.
Yes.
Right? But that is not traditionally a JPM event.
It's been a while since it's been one.
So, right. So I don't know who else from JPM will be there. I would assume I don't know if Devin's gonna go up there. I don't know if Alex Mancias is gonna go up there. So I would assume that those two will go and compete. Now, whether the rest of them, so a lot of this comes down to when they're gonna fight. I mean, the next JPM event technically usually is Diamonds.
Right.
So for the next 2 months, till the end of October before we debut. That's madness.
I don't know. I would assume, like, because that's what they used to do. I got picked up in August. I fought because on my own dime I went to Caps.
Yeah.
That wasn't a JPM.
I thought so too. That's from everything I've seen. Everyone was saying that it was a JPM event.
What Caps is this year? Okay, so then
because all the
you'll see the whole team then.
Yeah, because all the
Caps
posts
ever a JPM event when you were on the team?
Was it? Yes.
Yeah, one
Okay.
year when
Just not.
It was like, it wasn't every year, but it was. I don't know if it was my first year. It wasn't my first year, but I think they might have done it the next 2 years.
Hey, so before we get into this, I don't want to. One thing I did mention. Can we? If we have a big tournament, can we not give COVID money? Seriously, can we give more than? I mean, come on. Come on. You have over 1,000 competitors, and you can't give runner-up money, or you can't give.
You know what you should do, Jeff?
So
here's what you should do, Jeff. When you go to collect,
I know I'm not helping my case for overall, guys.
No. It's even better.
But it's just the truth, right?
No, Jeff. You got to do it like this. When you go to collect your money, and they go, "Oh, it's $200." Don't you? You should do. You should look at them and go, "Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed?"
Oh man!
To be giving this. This is. It'd be like giving a $2 tip when you go to a 5-star restaurant, right? Aren't you embarrassed at all?
Well, no, because nowadays they put the gratuity in there already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
Oh my God!
Automatic charge.
Yo.
Automatic. That's what it should be. You already have my credit card. You have my credit card number because you got it when I registered.
Yo, I feel like this
Boom,
episode.
You immediately got a Zelle.
This episode is like our first year episodes that were like 2 hours long. This is great.
I'm shocked that so many people are still on here listening and talking to us.
I know. This is great. Thank you guys. Thank y'all so much.
What if when you collected your prize money, you got it via Zelle right away?
I've had that happen before. Actually, that was the one thing that was good about the online tournaments. The ones that were given money, they would Zelle it or Cash App it like immediately. Like as soon as you win, they would ask you it before, and then boom, boom, boom.
You made more money doing online.
Dude, what tournament was that? The K-Talk tournament, dude. K-Talk, when they did it online, good Lord.
Talk about it.
I didn't even leave my my dojo, and I got like more money than the overall grands winner at the U.S. Open got.
And that's where you got to look at the U.S. Open and go, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed at yourself? Well, this is what you got?
I'm not trying to hate on everybody, but
No, but I mean
just seriously. Think on that end, that's something that needs to be looked at. Come on.
Listen, and I might be the guy. I might just be the guy. Like, I'll tip for a lot because. All right, here's an example. Okay, when I tip, I got to tip a lot. So I just look at like when you got to pay someone out, right? You have to look that person in the eye and say, "Here, you just did all of this. Here's what you're worth." Like, what? Get out of here.
Well, I think the biggest issue, Alex, was it wasn't posted. Like all the promoters, if we know what we're going into, okay, we can't really complain that much if we knew in advance. But
correct,
it wasn't posted, and a lot of tournaments aren't posting it. That's several tournaments now that have it. The ones that are getting getting love and support. So I don't know.
You know what? We've spoken a lot of things into existence. Let's try it right now. Okay, here we go. The men's forms grand has now just become $1,500. Okay. All the weight grand championships are $500. The open weight championship is $2,000. I don't know. What else can we do?
Well, I think the biggest issue with our sport is that we're the only sport where there's only one person gets money, or you know what I mean, like one winner gets money. I think it definitely needs to at least be top 3, needs to get some type of money. You look again, we're talking completely different, but we're looking at golf where if you make the cut 65th, you're getting money. You're getting a lot of money. I know it's different, but again, I'm not asking for 20 grand. I'm asking for maybe $200 or $100. You know what I'm saying? But
I'll just say this.
Well, we used to have divisional money.
There, but I'll say this, and I'll let you guys continue talking about this. What's the reason for them to do it?
Horse.
Like
It's
honestly,
the same-
like
I know.
honestly,
I know.
what
I know.
it's like we've talked
I know.
about this for 20 years.
Yep.
What's the reason for them to do it and change?
I've been
There has to
talking.
be a reason for them to actually change. For me to give you money when you're not the breadwinner for me, why give you money?
See,
And
if
though,
you're going to
the
show
only
up,
reason- the only thing that would make them do that, Trav, would be if they felt it, right? And the only time they felt it was when a worldwide pandemic said, you will feel it, right? So if they felt it on an immediate like incident or time, then
Say
what
this.
would that mean for the sport?
Maybe
What would
there
that mean
should
for the
be-
sport? The sport almost dies then at that point.
maybe there should be a PGA change. You know why the
Yeah.
PGA changed, don't you?
Now
There's another-
that I agree with. That I
There
agree with,
might
which is why Kappa
need to be
probably
another
exists, right,
reason.
Jeff?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're about to get into a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we're
All
about to
right,
get into a whole nother
Yeah.
stuff.
We got a
anything
lot
else?
to talk about.
We
Yeah.
did. We had a lot to talk about, and there's probably more. But
Oh, it's always stuff more.
hey, guys. So again, this was episode 199. Next week is episode 200. We're gonna have a big celebration. We'll let everybody know what we're gonna do, and then we'll go from there. So, virtual fight tour, August 26th. What else we
No,
got?
I'm gonna give a shout out. My homie Miles Bates. It's his birthday today.
Oh yeah.
This
Miles.
dude-
Miles.
Happy birthday, Miles. This guy, I'm gonna tell you right now, he has the fastest blitz nobody knows about. This dude, end-to-end speed, when he wants to do it, he is as fast as Elijah Averill. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Right?
Just tell him to stay on the ground. Don't jump.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
When he goes rear hand first, there's no stopping him. Right? And I'm telling you right now, in training, when this guy decides, nope, I'm just gonna blitz 4 or 5 times in a row, nothing you can do about it. You can't run away from it, right? Because he's 126 pounds and 17 feet long, right? So, but happy birthday, my
Love
homie.
it. Love it.
Can't
Love
wait to
it.
fight you again.
Love it. All right. Thanks,
This
Travis.
has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Peace.